Alright guys, in this video I'm going to walk you through one of the most powerful ways to segment your contact when it comes to marketing. And one of the things you want to do inside the ACR platform is to have the ability to separate your contacts from different tags, different conditions, and different opportunity sales processes you may have. What you need to do is that you need to go into your contacts and you need to go into Smart List. You can see up here on the top here we have got various different tags or different conditions in place. You want to make sure before you start any filtering, you need to make sure you're always in the all contact list. And then you go into the more filter section, and this will allow you to see all the different conditions that's available to you for you to do the filtering. A very typical way of doing segmentation is usually done by tags, but as a precursor to this, you cannot segment by tags unless you have put those tags in the first place. Okay, give me an example. By default, ACR system have got members tags, or you've got lost tags. These are the default systems that you can actually segment your list with. So to put it into perspective, let's say I want to see a list of people that are converted members, and I've put a member tag on them. I'll have the ability to come into contacts, and the first condition I'm going to be looking for is putting a tag as a filter. So from here, I can go into here and create is a member tag, and that's going to allow me to see everybody in this particular list that have that particular tag on them. These contact lists or these smart lists are what we call dynamic, which means that anytime you add a contact with a member tag, then you are going to see that person exists in that particular list. So let's go through some examples here. So if I say this as a list with 7 records in there that's got a members tag, which I believe we already have in this one over here. You can see this particular filter, 7 people, and the filter over here is a member tag. So at any given time, I can go to any part of my contact list. I can go into this person here, and I can add a particular tag either manually, or I can do it as a part of the automation, as part of something you want to add as part of the action steps. But if you manually add someone with a member tag on this person, you're going to see as soon as I add that tag to that client, I can go into contact list and I can go into the member tag list. That will allow me to see in as a person that's a brand new member. That's probably one of the most common way of putting a smart list in place. And as I said, you need to make sure that if you want to segment all your leads, you need to segment them using tags. That's one way of doing it. You need to make sure you add all those into part of your automation. As you can see, these automations here, let's say for example, I have a Bark lead source, which is a lead generation platform. I'm going to add a Bark tag on that particular contact every single time. So in here, yes, I have got a lead tag. I can also then go into here and add a Bark tag, which you know, this is triggered by when a Bark tag is added. So the moment someone has a Bark tag, they're going to into this particular automation. And what would happen is that if I go into a contact and I want to segment and looking at who is coming from the Bark tag channel, then I can go into contacts and I can look for that particular tag by itself. So I can go into all, and I'm going to look for the tag, and I'm going to look for that particular tag. And I can apply to that, and now I can see there's no one in there at the moment. If I add someone in there, then that will appear. That's probably the most basic way of being able to create a smart list. Now I want to show you how you can do some advanced stuff when it comes to filtering your contact list, other than just using tags. You can do it via let's say a pipeline stage or pipeline as a whole. So if you look at the more filters again, you can filter them by email, you can filter them by addresses, you can filter them by their pipeline stages and statuses. So when I go into pipeline, you can see I can filter them by a pipeline, which is they are in a particular pipeline, whether it be a sales pipeline, members checking pipeline, members journey pipeline. So I can look at anyone who's inside one particular pipeline as a whole. That's going to show me 115 records which exist in that one pipeline. That's one way of doing it. Or you can actually go into the filter and want to segment that a little bit more, but I only want to look at someone who's in a particular stage of my pipeline. So for example, I may want to look at someone who's on a follow-up pipeline, or maybe who has booked an appointment, and I want to send them a different message. So I can go into here, and I want to make sure I go into pipeline stage, and I want to select this as a follow-up pipeline. That's going to show me everyone who is in that particular group. Okay, so if I go to here and save this as a smart list, I can call this sales follow-up pipeline. Okay, once I do that, that record is going to be showing only the people who's in that particular pipeline stage. As you can see, if I go to opportunities now, I'm going to go to follow-up. I'm going to have people in here. Now, this is a really great way of showing you what other filters you need to put into place, because as you can see, I've got 4 people I can visually see in opportunities, and I'll go into contacts. In that particular pipeline, new lead, sales pipeline follow-up, I can see 5 records. Okay, and the reason why that is the case is that if I go into this particular filter, it is only looking at anyone who exists in that particular follow-up pipeline. It is not filtering by their statuses. So if I go to opportunities here, by default, most of the pipeline stage will have a filtering in place. You can see a little blue dot up here. What that means is that I'm looking only at open records. If I want to look at every single record, and by filtering this particular place, okay, I can delete the filter, and you can see straight away I've got 5 contacts in that follow-up pipeline, which matches to the filtering that I have in place. So for me to get an accurate reading or accurate result, I always want to make sure, especially if you're using the function where you move the contact into lost or won, that is going to change the status of your contact card or your opportunity card. So in this case, I'm going to make sure I'll put the status. I only want to see the open statuses, and then I want to go into the contact card, and I'm going to change this filter into everyone who is in sales pipeline, and I'm only going to see, you can see here I've got the opportunity to go and or option. Okay, I'm going to make sure I select the sales pipeline follow-up, and I want to only see pipeline statuses as being open, which means it should reflect exactly what I see in the pipeline stages. Okay, in that case, I want to maybe save this, and I can save it under a different name. I may say follow-up pipeline open statuses. Okay, again, always making sure your pipelines and your filters are named in such a way that you can very easily identify that particular person. So one of the great things about Smart List is that you have the ability to add different conditions in there. So let's say, for example, I want to see everyone who's in the pipeline and only in lost statuses and have a particular tag in place. Okay, so let's say, for example, I want to put, for example, I can put a bold tag onto this list right here. Everyone's in the follow-up. I'm going to add a particular tag in there, add tag. I'm going to put a follow-up tag in them. Okay, add tag. This is going to add a follow-up tag to everyone on that list. A really important note right here is that right now I can only see 4 people on that particular record. Now as you come over here, when you go to all, you can see I've got 207 records. It's only showing me 20 records on this particular page. So if when I click this particular icon, it is only selecting 20 records at a time, and it's not selecting all 207 records. So if I add a tag to that particular list here, it's only going to add to 20 records, not 207 records. So a really important note here that you need to make sure if you're adding to a complete list, making sure your page sizes is selecting all, or you make sure you select all records on that list. So going back to what we were doing before, we've got these 4 contacts have got a follow-up tag being added in bulk. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to do something a little bit more advanced. I want to see everyone who is inside the sales pipeline, and I'm going to exclude everyone who has a follow-up tag. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go into the more filter, I'm going to first filter or first condition I'm looking for is for a pipeline. So I'm looking for everybody who's in the sales pipeline. But at the same time, I don't want to see anyone who's in the follow-up pipeline stage. So I know that in the follow-up pipeline stage, I've added tag says follow-up pipeline. So I'm going to add a condition in there saying anyone tag is not follow-up. Okay. So I know that there are 4 people inside that particular pipeline stage. So by putting this filter in place, that record should only show 111. And that's how you do it. So what we're doing here is we're using a very advanced type conditioning in place that is allowing you to look at the pipeline and look at anyone who doesn't have a particular tag, or maybe a tag is empty. And let's say, for example, I want to look at these records that only have people that have got an email. So I can now add another condition in place and say email is not empty, which means they have an email in place. Okay. Now I can see, oh, hang on, 2 more people doesn't have emails. So now I can continue to create these additional filters in there to make sure I segment them into different areas. So let's say, for example, your smart list have got conditions in play, male, female. You may have addresses or phone numbers, all those different conditions. You can continue to go down this list and only look for a particular type of filters or particular type of custom fields I may have, many particular kind of conditions you may have in place to ensure you can segment all these lists out. So again, based on the different conditions, based on different fields that's available to you, which is sitting inside these filters, you can very easily segment into different type of list and different tags, different conditions for you to really do a very effective marketing when it comes to separating everyone in your contact list into a particular group of marketing group. And that's how you're using a smart list filter to create segmentation for marketing down the track.